Katsina governor urges residents to defend themselves rather than wait on the government. Osun youth protest against economic hardship insecurity. CBN governor answers tough questions on forex market and economic instability. And on the foreign scene, U.S. calls for investigation into alleged civilian killings in Ethiopia's Amhara region. Hello and welcome to Trust TV's news update. I am Chiamaka Mwafo. Thanks for joining us. Katsina State Governor Dikko Rada has issued a call to residents urging them to take proactive measures in defending themselves against bandit attacks rather than depending solely on government intervention. Governor Rada made this plea during an extensive emergency security meeting held at the Government House in Katsina on Friday, emphasizing the urgency of addressing the escalating insecurity, food shortages and poverty in the state. Rada underscored the need for immediate action. The meeting, which was attended by security chiefs, leaders of paramilitary agencies, prominent traditional rulers from Katsina and Daura, and senior government officials, aimed to formulate strategies to tackle the prevailing challenges. Governor Rada disclosed that the state government is considering the establishment of a task force to address the surge in food prices and insecurity. He assured the populace that the state government would act swiftly rather than waiting for situations similar to the riots witnessed in Kano and Niger states to unfold in Katsina. Still in Katsina, in a brazen assault, a herd of bandits armed to the teeth stormed Megdabino town in Dalmusa local government area of Katsina state, leaving devastation in their wake. Tragically, one member of the local security outfit known as the Community Security Watch Corps fell in the line of duty. As dawn broke on Friday, the eastern part of the town became a battleground as the community security personnel valiantly engaged the bandits, determined to shield their town from the invaders' attack. Despite a fierce firefight, they managed to repel the attack, but not without paying a heavy price. Salisu Abdullahi Kanga, a dedicated member of the Corps, made the ultimate sacrifice. Reports from Trust TV sources in Megdabino revealed that Salisu Abdullahi has been laid to rest in accordance with Islamic traditions. However, questions linger over the delayed response from the nearby military camp, leaving residents clamoring for increased government efforts to safeguard their communities. Over in the southwest, youths in Osun State have taken to the streets of Osogbo in a peaceful demonstration against the soaring cost of goods and services, coupled with the escalating cost of living nationwide. Led by leaders of civil society organizations, the youths assembled in Osogbo on Friday to demand immediate intervention from the federal and state governments, as well as other stakeholders, to avert an imminent collapse of the nation. Despite the heavy police presence near the protest site along MDS Road, Osogbo, the demonstrators remained undeterred, wielding placards with various messages such as "Change unfavorable policies," quote, "Nigerians are suffering, we can't cope anymore, and we are humans, stop mistreating the citizens." Addressing the protesters, Wahid Lawal, chairman of the Osun Civil Society's coalition, vowed that the protest would persist until the federal government devises concrete solutions to alleviate the prevailing economic hardships plaguing the country. In response, the Osun State Police Command, through its spokesperson Yemisi Okpalola, issued a warning against any attempt to hijack the peaceful protest. Okpalola emphasized that the police possessed intelligence indicating plans by criminal elements to exploit the protest as a cover for causing chaos in the state. In Niger State, the government has instructed the release of Aisha Jibrin, the leader of the Mina protest, along with 24 others who were apprehended by the police. Binta Mamandi Niger State Commissioner for Information and Strategies made this announcement during a press conference held in the state capital on Friday. Binta emphasized that the decision to release the detainees followed a meticulous examination of the circumstances surrounding the arrest of Jibrin and the other women involved in organizing and participating in the protest. The protest erupted in Mina on Monday, with residents expressing their grievances over the high cost of living by blocking major roads within the metropolis. Women and youths led the demonstration, chanting protest slogans as security personnel, including policemen, monitored the situation. Among those arrested were 3 women, including 57-year-old Fatima Aliyu, along with 22 other individuals who took part in the protest. The arrest sparked widespread discontent among residents who voiced their dissatisfaction with the crackdown on peaceful protesters. To address the rapid depreciation of the naira against the US dollar, Olayemi Cardoso, governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, has highlighted the federal government's concerted efforts to bolster liquidity in the foreign exchange market. Cardoso disclosed these measures during his appearance before the Senate Committees on Finance, Appropriations, Banking, Insurance and other financial institutions. Alongside key figures in the nation's economy, including the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Budget, Cardoso faced scrutiny over the performance of the naira and Nigeria's current inflation figures. While acknowledging the concerns raised, Cardoso emphasized that the strategies implemented by the government through the Apex Bank have begun to yield positive outcomes. However, he cautioned against expecting instant results, noting that there is no quick fix solution to the challenges at hand.
We believe that using the inflation targeting framework, which is being adopted by the central bank and going forward, obviously, by the MPC, we believe we will see inflation moderating to 21.4%. To address exchange rate volatility, a comprehensive strategy has been initiated to enhance liquidity in the foreign exchange markets. This includes unifying FX market segments, clearing outstanding FX obligations, introducing new operational mechanisms for BDC and IMTOs, and enforcing the net open position limit, open market operations, and adjusting the remunerable standing deposit facility cap, amongst others. These are basically tools which we have applied in the course of the recent past to address the issues of supply heavily and also to discourage those who are speculating and distorting the value of our currency. These measures have already started yielding early results, and this is early times, and I couldn't agree more with the Minister of Finance with respect to the issue of the timing of reforms, that frankly there is no magic wand, unfortunately. I mean, these are issues we've had to grapple with. They're created over a period of time, a long period of time, and all we can do is try to use techniques, tools which we believe are taking us in the direction and moderate the concerns that we've all heard today.
Staying with matters related to the economy of the country, the Federal High Court in Lagos, Ikoyi, recently ordered the federal government to fix prices of basic consumer and petroleum goods within 7 days. Human rights lawyer Femi Falana had gone to court arguing that Section 4, Subsection 1 of the Price Control Act of 2004 requires the federal government to fix the prices of a long list of basic commodities and petroleum products, including diesel, premium motor spirit and kerosene. Though the order by the High Court may be a source of hope to the struggling Nigerian populace, the question is, can it be enforced? Trustevik Chamudabeng tells us more.
The unregulated nature of the Nigerian market has left it open to the whims of the sellers, who are largely driven by the economic realities of the country. The Price Control Act of 2004 was primarily passed to limit arbitrary prices set by market leaders and regulate how service providers set the pricing of their goods and services. The order by the High Court to fix prices of basic consumer and petroleum goods within 7 days comes with noticeable implementation challenges. A key challenge is government's deregulation policy on petroleum products, which led to the removal of fuel subsidy. According to legal practitioner Emmanuel Ikpebe, the court order is just the first step of a long procedure.
The courts have ruled, but mind you, it has to take not just the order of court to make a reversal in all those things. It has to take a government policy to do that. So because the court said, the government cannot just sit back and say, okay, we took off subsidy, now we'll bring it back, and price of petrol will crash to one. Because of, no, it has to go through a government policy. The
deregulation of petroleum products has been highly debated by several experts, as the controversial decision has brought untold hardships to Nigerians, but some see it differently. For the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, this is an opportunity for the federal government to revise some of the policies that have taken a toll on the masses.
I think this current administration should take this as an opportunity for it to improve on some of the policies that it has made so far that is having a negative consequences on the citizens.
The glaring gaps in the implementation of the court order has had many questioning if the court ruling can be really carried out and how realistic it is.
I've seen a situation in Nigeria, in Nigeria whereby the court will give an order and the federal government refuse or object to that kind of ruling. And it's not right for a system to be, going this way. So government must always obey court ruling. That is what democracy is all about.
Very, very realistic on the face of it, but unrealistic based on policies and the economy. So the court will not come and force the president to do anything. And you can't even hold him in contempt. Because it's the CNC. You can't hold him in contempt. But how realistic? The answer is a no-no. Because there are no policies in place. You can't reverse the dollar back to 75 naira in 1 day.
Despite the court ruling, which aims at alleviating the burdens of Nigerians, it does not change the economic realities of the country as the nation continues to battle high inflation and the free fall of the naira, showing a need for the government to take a deep look into the state of Nigeria's struggling economy. Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
This is a news update on Trust TV. Up ahead, Kano, Jigawa irrigation farmers optimistic of bumper harvest. This and more when we return. Please do stay with us. Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, this is a news update on Trust Television. Eric at some of our top stories. Katsina governor urges residents to defend themselves rather than wait on the government. And Osun youths protest against economic hardship insecurity. Tomorrow's stories. On a sad note, tragedy struck along the Shagamu-Benin Expressway as 4 lives were tragically lost in a solitary accident. The Federal Road Safety Corps reported the incident on Friday, disclosing that the fatal crash occurred at the Ijebu-Ode axis of the highway. According to Florence Okpe, the FRSC Public Education Officer in Ogun State, the accident involved a Toyota Camry car. The driver, recklessly speeding, lost control of the vehicle, leading to a devastating crash into a nearby swamp. Regrettably, all occupants of the vehicle, comprising 3 adult males and 1 female, succumbed to the impact of the accident. Okpe conveyed this somber news to journalists in Abeokuta, emphasizing the importance of adhering to safety guidelines while on the road. The sector commander, Anthony Oga, echoed Okpe's sentiments, urging motorists embarking on long journeys to take regular breaks, especially after every 4 hours of driving, to prevent fatigue. Additionally, he emphasized the need to adhere to speed limits at all times. advocating for responsible driving practices to prevent such tragic incidents in the future. As attention turns to Nigeria's huge housing deficit, former Minister of Works, Babatunde Fashola, says the problem cannot be solved by merely building 17 million residential units. The minister, who once superintended over the housing ministry, suggests that the collection of rent by landlords is one of the factors compounding the problem. He spoke in Lagos while unveiling his memoirs. Here's the report. Babatunde Fashola is not new to controversy, as he presents himself as one of the intellectuals in Nigeria's political landscape. He is interrogating the interplay between empirical evidence and hyperbole in political discourse, which seems to suggest that all is not always what it seems. A typical scenario where this works is the huge accommodation deficit in the country. Nigeria is a paradox where there seems to be a shortage of places of residence, but there are many unoccupied buildings because of the demand for more than 1 year rent by house owners. The former minister is therefore canvassing for legislation that will control the collection of rent.
But I think, as I've argued, that we can look at housing not only from ownership and construction, but also rental. How many houses are empty and unoccupied? Why are they empty? Why are they not occupied? Some of the reason is because of the way we collect rent. That is not the only reason. But if you do not understand how dramatic and painful that 3, 4, 5 years rent has become to our nation, and we have not consciously done anything to it.
The Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, who represented President Bola Tinubu at the event, argued that political leaders should engage in evidence-based and data-reliant decisions, especially as the world is facing many challenges. He, however, noted that the advent of social media has made the task more difficult for leaders due to the spread of fake news and other vices.
Now, in this historical moment, as we confront and overcome the challenges that threaten our future, we have an obligation as leaders in politics and government to engage in evidence-based discourse and data-reliant decision-making as a matter of course. But as citizens interested in the issues of state and governance, the obligation is even more significant to ensure that our engagement with each other springs from a shared agreement on what truth is, what is real and what isn't. We live in what some observers have described as a post-truth world. This is a world where nothing is real. Politics is fueled by emotive arguments, and objective facts are less influential in shaping public opinion than appeals to identity and personal belief. In this new world we find ourselves, public discourse is driven by alternative facts, dropped with reckless abandon on social media and technology, including artificial intelligence tools, allowing for the creation of false realities to confuse and deceive people and distort perceptions of what is real and what isn't.
But Fashola's hyperbole do not dwell only on the subject of housing. The former minister, who is also a senior advocate, also pitches another food for thought, which this time is found in the 1999 Constitution. The Nigerian Constitution, he says, provides for review of minimum wage and not salaries as always canvassed by labor leaders. This, of course, is an argument for another day. Irrigation farmers across Kano and Jigawa State may smile this season as optimism of a bumper harvest rise. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin reports that despite growing challenges, farmers are hopeful that this year may be different. Here's his report.
Every year by this time, farmers across most northern states head to the farm again for dry season farming. Ishaq Al-Hassan and many other farmers have been looking forward to this moment. They say the harvest this year has been fruitful and express the hope that more good news await them.
We have many challenges,
But the most disturbing one is the high cost of fuel, and then the seed. We thank God this year the flour millers have given us a very good seed, but it's not as good as the one we had last year. So we are appealing to them that they should bring a better one for us like the one we used last. We have been cultivating wheat year in, year out. But I must tell you that the one we did this year is completely different. The Wheat Flour Millers Association of Nigeria that came in here to give us seed, insecticide, and also fertilizer. In return, after the harvest, we will pay them back. Wheat is the common crop planted this year, and the harvest seems good in some areas of Ringim in Jigawa State and Kura in Kano State. However, disease outbreaks, lack of modern seeds, the cost of insecticide and other related costs of production may likely affect output this year. Over the years, Naima Al-Hassan has been among the few women engaged in irrigation farming. She says the failure of authorities to come to their aid has continued to threaten their productivity in wheat farming, especially during dry season farming. I've been farming and I thank God. And those close to me have also thanked God, because as a result of what I am doing, several other people are benefiting. Even though we have lots of challenges, the issue of seed, the issue of fuel, the issue of transportation. In less than 3 months, this green field will turn to brown for harvest. And with this year's improvement in irrigation farming, experts hope there will be a significant reduction in wheat and other food importation to Nigeria.
The commercial aspect of crop production will be obvious to the farmer that he is not just suffering, because he will repay whatever loans he has taken, at the same time make money on it. Rather than the previous situation when the farmers were on their own, they make 1 ton, 1.2 tons, or even 2 tons, and in the end, it's just not adding up at all.
Wheat production can be productive and also can bring commercial and economic benefit to farmers. The whole essence of our doing this is to increase the yield, possibility of wheat in Nigeria.
While farmers continue to nurture their harvest for this year's irrigation farming, the high cost of living occasioned by the increase in the price of food items has continued to make life difficult for many people across the country. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
And away from Nigeria, the United States is calling for a thorough investigation into the alleged massacre of civilians in Ethiopia's Amhara region. Reports from a local rights group suggest that over 80 people were killed last week following clashes between soldiers and armed groups in the town of Merawi. Irvin Masinga, the U.S. ambassador to Ethiopia, expressed deep concern over the reports and emphasized the need for unfettered access for independent human rights monitors. He called for an impartial investigation to ensure that the perpetrators are held accountable. Masinga's statement highlighted the disturbing pattern of violence in Amhara and other parts of Ethiopia, which are grappling with multiple internal conflicts. Last April, a rebellion erupted in Amhara after the government moved to dissolve regional forces and integrate them into the federal army. The conflict escalated in August when a militia group known as the Fano launched a surprise assault, capturing towns across Amhara. While the rights group refrained from assigning blame for the shootings due to the inability to visit the site, it called for a comprehensive investigation to uncover the truth behind the tragic events. In sports, the Super Eagles have solemnly honored the memory of fans who tragically lost their lives while watching the Wednesday's AFCON semi-final match between Nigeria and South Africa. Among the deceased was former Executive Director of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Cairo Ojogbo. In a touching tribute, the video captured coach Jose Pacero and his coaching staff observing a minute of silence in honor of the departed fans. Following the tribute, a brief prayer led by Chidozie Awaziem, 27-year-old central defender from Primera Liga club Boavista, sought divine protection for Nigerians watching the upcoming final match against hosts Cote d'Ivoire on Sunday.
King of glory, the Most High God, the creator of heaven and earth, Father in heaven, we want to thank you for all you have done. We want to thank you for we know, O Lord, that you have a purpose for everything. You are the God that knows the end from the beginning. Heavenly Father, we appreciate you, Lord. Father, as those, O Lord, that we lost, O Lord, at the cost of our gain yesterday, O Lord. Heavenly Father, we don't know, O King of Glory, you, O God, know what happened. But we pray, O Lord, and we wish that wherever their soul is,
may the souls of the departed rest in peace and the Super Eagles a good success on their Sunday's outing. And with that, we've come to the end of the news at this hour. For more news, programs and documentary, don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. Thank you for watching.